FYI.
Okay. Chief, will you bring us to order?
Sure. This meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen is now in session. Anyone that has business before this board, please speak up and you will be heard.
Ted Campbell, will you open us with prayer?
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come this hour of the evening to give thanks for the many blessings that have restored unto us. We thank you for this privilege. We thank you for this opportunity for allowing us to come together to discuss the business of the city. We pray that everything we do and say will be in your will. It is in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you. Our first guest of the night will be Chase Bryan from C Spire. If you will get him on, Dominique.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me all right?
We can, Chase.
Okay. I apologize. You're not missing anything, but I apologize you can't see me tonight. My kids are on virtual school this week, and I'm traveling at the moment. So it was a dangerous combination to be on video tonight. But I did want to talk to you folks, and if it's all right, I had something to display. So first of all, thank you for letting me and my team join the call and having us on here. We had committed to you guys that a couple months back that we would attend this meeting and give an update on the prospect and potential and the path to getting C Spire fiber to the home service in Cleveland. If for those who were looped into that initial conversation, if you recall, basically, there's a few dozen factors that go into that and what markets we enter, what homes we can bring our service to, and a couple dozen, but the three main factors there and variables there are basically density, distance to fiber, and then demand. And demand is the one that practically of all the variables can overcome just about anything. So with that, if you aren't familiar with our service, C Spire has been doing fiber to the home service for the last 6 years. Obviously, we were primarily a wireless company before that. And over the last 6 years, we have exponentially grown our fiber to the home business, where we offer gigabit internet service, C Spire TV, and then home phone service, all packaged under our home services department. The service, I'll give you the very brief overview. I could talk for hours about it, but essentially when we came up with this service, we decided we were going to do everything the opposite of what every sort of incumbent cable and internet provider does today. And so with that, we decided we were going to do one internet tier to keep it simple. We give people the best internet tier, that is gigabit, so 1,000 megs download and 1,000 megs upload. So it is a symmetrical service as well. So for example, when you're on calls like this, seeing other people's video in addition to uploading your video, that is very key. We do things like we don't do data caps. We give people exact appointment times, for example. So when we tell people we're going to be there at 8 a.m., we don't give them a window of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to be there sitting in their driveway, probably about 7:50 a.m. waiting for them to finish their coffee. So again, I could go on and on about what's different about C Spire Fiber. Hopefully, many of you have heard about that and are somewhat familiar with that or know folks with our service. We are continuing to grow and expand throughout the state of Mississippi. And here recently into the state of Alabama as well, with that service. So without further ado, again, getting back to the demand and those variables, we follow a crowdsourcing model. So wherever there is, relatively dense area with fiber relatively close, again, we can open up that area for crowdsourcing and see what that demand looks like. Some people are satisfied with the services they have today. Some people are begging for, better or simply a broadband option. And then other folks are just indifferent. So what we do is we put every neighborhood, we call them fiberhoods. We put them up on our website. Folks can go to our website, type in their address. They will get a page and they will be funneled through a flow where they can register and express that demand and that interest for our service. We monitor that every day. And so what we do is we look at the neighborhoods, we see where the demand is coming from, and that is the order we will go in building out the neighborhoods in any given city, and in your case. So if I've got another minute or two, what I wanted to do today, I apologize, Dominique, it looks like the screen sharing is disabled, but if we can't undo that, that's fine. I can send you guys some screenshots as a follow-up to this meeting. Okay. So can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go to cspire.com. If you want a shortcut, it's cspire.com/home. I'm going to use a random address that we picked out just to show you folks what it looks like here. I'm going to click that. I'm just putting in a fake email for now. Once you hit view packages, it's going to populate a map here, assuming that's the right address. Yes, this is my home. This is what your residents would see. So we've assigned this address to a fiberhood that we've called Cleveland Country Club Northeast. There's about 15 different fiberhoods that we created. And this is a progress bar. So you can see a couple of people, even since we've launched this, and this was just recently launched, have registered, and this bar will continue to fill up as people register. When you go through here, you'll give us your name, email, phone number, tell us what services you're interested in. You can even run a speed test to show us, hey, I've only got a 5 meg connection today at my house. Look how slow it is, or whatever the case may be. And at the very end, one of the great things about this tool as well is you can opt in to be either a fiber champion or what we call a backer, or you can do both. And what that means is that will allow you to connect with other people who have registered to sort of get that steam going. You can also at the end click on a link that will allow you to email all of your neighbors and friends and so on and tell them, hey, don't know if you've heard about this, but come on to C Spire, register, and we can potentially get service first or quicker, what have you. We do realize that many folks over the last 6 years have been coming to our site.
Come here.
And those folks have filled out a somewhat similar form, what we used to call our interest form. We will be emailing all of those folks next week to let them know about this new crowdsourcing model, or form rather, and to come back to our site and register there so that it can count towards that goal. So with that, Dominique, that's the gist of it. I don't know if there were any questions. This is launched. This is live. In anticipation for this meeting, we spoke with Dominique and others a couple months back again. In anticipation of this meeting, we went ahead and launched all the neighborhoods throughout Cleveland in their own fiberhood. So virtually anyone on this call can go check their address and get a similar screen to what I just showed you and register and spread the word as well. So with that, Dominique, I'll stop and see if there's any questions or anything else you guys need me to address.
Any questions of Chase? Good job, Chase, and we appreciate it. We look forward to it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Dominique, if we'll go to Ms. Moore, or whoever we want to start here.
All right, so we're going to start with Ms. Moore, and then we want to try to keep it as orderly as possible so we could try to talk one at a time, since we have a few people on tonight. And so, Ms. Moore, are you off mute? I saw Ms.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right, Ms. Moore, you have the floor.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Aldermen and others. I want to thank you all for the time that you're giving us this evening to listen to our concerns regarding the proposed newly constructed Butler County Community Action Agency and Head Start. And I want to say, first of all, I live here in Cleveland. We do care about children, I'm clear, and that we want them to be in a good environment and be in a nice facility. But we do have some concerns about the newly constructed proposed building. And the concerns that were raised last night during our neighborhood meeting was why build a building in an area where no children are attending. The emergency gate that's proposed to be on North Street between the Turners and the Henrys home. The increase in traffic, the vehicle traffic and the foot traffic that's going to be in the area. The close proximity of the project to the property line of those that live on the north side of North Street. The drainage, the increase in the noise, and the impact, lastly but not least, the impact that this project would have on our property value. So there are some of the neighbors who are on Zoom, and just want to let you hear from their voices, their concerns, because they live in this neighborhood and it's going to impact all of us. So I'm going to just call on Shirley Turner first.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Shirley Turner, and I live at 1105 North Street, Cleveland, Mississippi.
Okay.
And I first purchased my home in 1995 with the hope of this being my retirement home. And my husband and I have both retired and began to enjoy retirement. Some of our residents met last night to discuss our concerns and try to get questions answered. My first question is, has the city of Cleveland deeded this property over to the Bolivar County Community Action?
We have had a memorandum of understanding some 3 or 4 or 5 years, I think. Has it been deeded over, Dominic or Danny Griffith?
No, sir, it has not.
Okay. Now, I'm speaking as a resident of Underwood to let you know how I feel about this project being proposed by Bolivar County Community Action. Now, I am all for educating children and seeing Cleveland progress. However, I object to this project because there will be an increase in noise in the neighborhood. There will be an increase in foot traffic and vehicle traffic, congestion on Martin Luther King. Now, I live on North Street, and this building, street, the parking lot, and playground will literally be in my backyard. Now, the street would run down behind my house, but the front of this building gonna be facing my backyard. The proposed emergency gate is at the end of my driveway. Now, I'm concerned about all the impact all of this will have on our neighborhood and especially our property value and in particular mine. Now, I just feel like I'm being hit on every corner with this, and I object strongly to this.
Trying to unmute again. Thank you, Ms. Turner. And Ms. Rash, are you there? Can you speak? Ms. Rash? She's muted. Okay, there she is. Okay, I'm going to call on someone else since it seems like she might be having some technology issues. Ms. Brown, Nanette Brown. Okay, Ms. Wolf, Catherine Wolf.
Ms. Morris, sure, they were in your class. They would not have been getting a good grade out of
I know, they would all get zeros.
them.
Ms. Wolf, Catherine Wolf, can you hear us? I can see her. I don't know if she can hear us though. Okay, Ms. Haynes, Burnett Haynes. Look like she's there. Can you all, I think they need to be unmuted, Dominique. They're having trouble unmuting.
Yeah, that I can ask them to unmute and then they would have to unmute themselves.
Okay,
There's
Hello.
there's Ms. Haynes.
Yes, we hear you, Burnett.
Burnett, can you speak to?
Hi.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
can you hear us?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. I'm a resident of Underwood too. I'm here on behalf of our resident. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Deborah,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
having. You still? I can't. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's breaking up, Burnett.
Trying to get.
Seems like we need that C-Spire service faster than we thought.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Okay, let me try this, since we're having technology issues. I wanted you all to hear from some of the voices of the residents, but since that's not going to work. And when we speak, we're not speaking for everybody in Underwood. I want to get that, put that on the table first of all. But those of us who have been talking, we would like to, number one, object to the project. Number two, ask the city, is there other land that you all could give Bolivar County Community Action where they could actually construct their proposed project? And number three, could we work with the board to identify another project that this neighborhood could embrace and get behind, that won't devalue our property and won't cause problems in our neighborhood? We want to see Bolivar County Community Action be successful. We want the children successful. So we worked half of our lives for these homes over here. These are our homes, and we're retired, a lot of us, and we just want to live the rest of our life in, a nice area. So going back to my question, first of all, is there other land that the city could possibly give Community Action to utilize for this project?
Let me address that first. And a lot of y'all might have been, we're going back about 20 years here. A lot of y'all, the reason Cleveland acquired that land is because Ross Story was alderman in that neighborhood at the time. And there was some local people, some doctors that owned that property back behind there. It had been sold and some people were going to put some apartments back there. So because of the quality, some of y'all may remember that.
I'm having bad connection.
Because of that, the city did buy the land to protect the integrity of the neighborhood. And that's why we had the land. The city as a whole, Ms. Moore, really doesn't own land. We're not in the real estate business. We just happen to own this land because of that. And like I said earlier, we started this memorandum of understanding some few years back and felt like at the time that they were going to get the money, and it's taken them this long to come up with it. So they've had a lot of effort on their end coming up with this money. And I guess I had thought maybe y'all had had a meeting or two and had the architects or the engineers there, and they kind of worked through it and kind of tried to figure out the values. And really, a lot of times values in the many years I've been in it depend on the economy that you're living in. And we're all very lucky as we sit here tonight to have Cleveland, Mississippi, which has a strong economy. And that has a lot to do with your value. Values have held up better in Cleveland, Mississippi than anywhere else in the Delta. So we're lucky in that respect. Y'all, and you do have a nice neighborhood there. Just a little background for why the land is there in our name.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayor, for that background. That
Mayor,
helps.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Since we're having a problem with communicating with these people, I understand there were supposed to be 15 people on the call roughly.
Uh-huh.
I guess my question of the 15 people is more than everybody, are the 15 people against this? Or I won't say against it, but against the location of where it is?
Okay, I'm Nanette Brown, and I was one of the 15 who was having trouble getting in. However, I want to say that I am adamantly against putting the Head Start Center behind in a location here on the street.
Okay, thank you.
And this is Deborah Moore. I'm opposed to putting it here on North Street.
Mayor, may I say something?
Please do.
You know, early on in this process, I asked the question, should we have a public hearing? And the response was that the only reason you'd have a public hearing is if it didn't meet our zoning requirement. But on the other hand, with this many people concerned about it, would that not justify having one? And I guess I'm asking that to our attorney.
Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Please.
In terms of zoning, it would not. This is appropriately zoned. It's been through planning, but that does not mean you cannot have a public hearing. When the city executed its memorandum of understanding, it reserved the right to have a public hearing. So that would be at the will and pleasure of the board. You can have one.
Mayor, can I ask the council a question? This is Kirk Pavone.
Okay. Kirk.
What in the MOU is written about that particular issue provision regarding public? Can you read that, just that, so that maybe everyone can hear it?
Danny, do you have that?
I could, but like the C Spire man was explaining earlier, I'm from my home internet tonight, and I so apologize. If I were at my internet at the office, I'd be a little faster. The specific language council basically says that the city reserves the right to have a public hearing, whether required by zoning or not, to determine the will of the neighborhood there. And so the city reserves that right. You can have a public hearing and make a finding that it's against the will of the neighborhood, should you so choose, in the discretion of the board.
Mayor, just for clarification for the record, I went online to the second. Can I just read the last couple sentences of that? It says, finally, in the event there is a need, parentheses, either in zoning or otherwise, close parentheses, for a public hearing, and the city finds that there is strong opposition to the project by neighboring property owners, comma, then the city shall cancel this agreement and shall have no obligation to BCCA whatsoever. And that's in the, I didn't realize that, it's in the November 1st, 2018 memorandum of understanding with between the city. So just for the record, I just realized it was in front of us, and everybody should have that as a part of our agenda tonight. So I wanted that record to be made if I could. Thank you.
Yeah, back to what Ms. Moore was saying, I think it's possibly 8 acres or so out there, and I'm kind of doing this from the top of my head. Was the project going to take the whole 8 acres? Is it possible that it could be moved on the lot some way where it did give the residents more what they were looking for? Or is Josh on this call?
Yes. He may be muted up.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. I'm here.
Yeah, he's muted out. Josh, did you meet with the group before, you and Kenny?
Yes, I met with their engineer and architect during the plan review process.
Okay, and does it fill the whole lot? Is it pretty?
It's I mean, it's not every acre, but it's a pretty good sized project.
Yeah.
It fills 70%, 75%.
Yeah, I know they've worked hard and long for years and years to get to this point, and I just didn't realize that it was so much opposition to it. I thought it'd be viewed at a little different maybe, but anyway, it is what it is. Maurice, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Mr. Mayor, I've met with the residents, and I think there were basically two big issues that the residents had. One was how would the project affect their property value? Two was the excess emergency exit that came near Mrs. Turner and Mr. Henry's home. And I've talked to Ms. Littleton, and she's addressed those issues. She's willing to assure the people and the board that this exit will only be used in case of an emergency for first responders. So, and I also said that one of the things that they could do would be to meet with Ms. Littleton. Evidently, the meeting last week with Ms. Littleton, there were still some of the same questions. The issue with the property value, as Ms. Deborah Moore stated last night, we can't get an answer to that. She's talked to the county administrator, tax assessor, and from what I don't want to misphrase Ms. Moore, she said that he didn't have the information to give on what impact it would have on property.
Yeah, the tax assessor's office said they could not make that determination, and the appraiser that I spoke with said that there was no comparative data, but we were right to be very, very concerned about the impact that it would have on our property value, but there was no comparative data that could be utilized to make a definitive determination.
Gary, I guess your neighborhood would be a example of something by a school that with a lot more traffic though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I live right across the street from a school, and I don't think it's ever affected my property values. I mean, my concern is when you have this many people who have issues that we at least have to address them in a proper format, and it's hard to do it in a meeting like this.
Yeah.
It needs to be more in a public hearing where someone can give artist renditions of what this is going to look like, give them a good example of what the parking lot and the ingress and egress is to the property. And that's hard to do in a meeting like this.
I would say it's impossible. How did y'all, Kenneth, or how did y'all do it in that last meeting? Was it a Zoom meeting where the architect was there?
It was an in-person meeting, and we had plans distributed to every person that was in the meeting. They had a small plan, and we had a large 33 by 48 plan available also.
Mr. Mayor, could I make a recommendation?
Certainly.
You want to hear everybody's side on this, and you want everybody to have as much information as they can. It would be in everyone's interest to set a period within which you would receive written comments. And then the board could evaluate those and determine the need of whether or not to set a public hearing. And then hopefully we could have a real public hearing and not a Zoom public hearing. One of these days we're going to have a vaccine, hopefully within a month or two. This is really difficult to do by the
internet. It is. It's quite difficult.
Mayor, being a lawyer like Danny, you want everything to be fair and transparent.
Mm-hmm. Right.
People to have their opportunity to speak. It's called their day in court. And when you cut that off, I've had clients jump all over me because they said, we didn't get our day in court. Well, that is where we are. And I agree with Danny. I think we need to give people whoever they are and whatever they want to say. We need to respect and let them say that. And this Zoom, I know that some of the ladies may have joined together in one room. Maybe that's working now. But I have problems. We all do dealing with this Zoom. But I don't want to, in any way, Mr. Mayor, cut people off.
Certainly.
And I think we need to respect everyone and give them a fair chance to express their view. It is their home. It's their homestead. We all treasure our homes. And so that's my view, is to be fair to everybody, because that's just the way I look at it. But
Can I make a motion to that effect?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we have a public hearing and that these people be provided with sufficient information to make a legitimate decision.
Okay. Robert, did you have something?
Yeah, I agree with Gary's motion. I wanted to make sure that I say this, that I totally agree with Kirk, what he's saying. Make sure everyone is inclusive. That's one of the things, you know, that we must make sure that everything is brought to the table. So I'm in agreement with that. All of us, we have a little round table.
Well, we can't necessarily do it right now. I can't get around.
Well, yeah, but when the time permits, we got to try to, you know, like you said, get it to the point where.
You want to second
Can we
that?
go back
You
to
wanna
what
second
David
that, or-
said, and everybody that was supposed to be on this call, give us a short letter that they would like a public hearing on this, that the 50 or so residents out there, that we have it, the letters from them.
Right.
There's a lot of people.
They'd like to have a public hearing on this.
A lot of people were not able to be able to get on call. You're absolutely right. Let me ask a quick question, Mayor, and I'm gonna let us move on. I'm gonna defer back to Maurice. I just wanted to make sure, because that's his area, his neighborhood, and I respect that fact, you know, all the things being said tonight. So I'm just trying to make sure that everybody, Maurice, when we have that, and what's your opinion of how we should proceed with making sure that everyone is inclusive?
I think that I have no problem with having a public hearing if that's what the wishes of the community and the board is. But I think it needs to be well planned. And from that, I mean, in terms of getting the information that was given in that short meeting where you had about 12 people or so, to make sure that the architects have the drawings and get all of this information out. And also, I think you need to hear from representatives from the Community Action Agency. And if there are fractions in the community that is for it and fractions that's against it, if they could meet and put in writing their concerns, kind of like what you're saying and what Kirk is saying, so that when we have a meeting, we will know what the concerns are, and possibly we could have the answers. I would hate to have a meeting and questions come up at the meeting and we're not prepared to answer them. Our community action is not prepared to answer them. Everybody's questions don't get put up before the board.
Okay.
Good point. All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Mayor, before we cut anybody off, is there somebody that can speak now? I mean, they've gone to a lot of trouble. Some of them may be in the same room with the same Zoom. So I want to be fair to them. They went to a lot of effort to come tonight. Those ladies, some of the ladies.
Anyone?
Yes. Yes. I would like to speak again. This is on Nanette Brown, and I am directly across the street from the Henrys and the Turners, and any traffic going through there will directly impact 1200 North Street. And I also want to say, on last evening during the call, which was the first time I found out about the Bolivar County Action Agency is going to build this Head Start building. And they gave it under the auspice of a school. And the Head Start is not a school. It is an agency for low-income families, children that come from low-income families. So to misrepresent it, to say it is a school, of course, a school would definitely increase the value or would not negate the value of property. It was going to increase the value. So we would like to, if we would get a middle school or a high school, that would be awesome in that property there. But to say that the Head Start Center is a school is a misrepresentation. And also to say that, as Mr. Smith said, and I talked to him extensively today, that he had gotten permission or had gotten a FOR from Mr. and Mrs. Henry, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Turner, that he had gotten a FOR statement from them that they are for this project, and come to find out that never happened. And I don't think it's fair for our representative of our award to misrepresent us. And nobody knocked on my door. I didn't get anything to say about whether we for or against. I am not, and I want to get the record straight. I am not I believe in helping children. That's not even the issue. But to say that you want to put a facility, I don't care how big, how pretty it is, but to say that you want to put a facility, a Head Start facility in a prominent, the only prominent African-American neighborhood, to put a Head Start facility there and say how beautiful it is, and it's going to increase our value. And as soon as someone asks, oh, the building is pretty, but what? Oh, the Head Start Center. Well, we all know that that's not true. It's going to help our community, and to bring people from Center 1, Center 2, that we're going to bring those neighborhoods together and bring them over here to our community. I don't think that's looking at the best interest of the citizens that's going to be directly impacted. Yes, there are some people over here in our community that's for, but those people are not directly impacted by this. Now, we may have 1 or 2 families, but the 3, 4 houses that are going to be directly impacted with this emergency exit are the 4 houses that are adamantly against this project. Now, we got 2 next door to me that's against this, and I think that should be taken into consideration, Mr. Smith, that we need to be looking at what's in the best interest of our community. And not, I don't think Mr. Smith would want this behind his house, because all we got to do is open the access. I'm certain there are other places. I'm an educator myself, so I love children, but I want to do what's right for our community. And we work very, very hard to bring the value of our community up. We work very hard for that. And I don't think having a Head Start Center under the pretense that it's a school is the right thing to do.
Okay, Ms. Moore, let's go back to where we were. If you will kind of head up getting all the people that were here and went to the trouble to come tonight to get written statements, and as we're able to have something more where we would work a little better, we will do that.
And Mayor, one final thing, can we make available as part of our fairness a copy of the latest MOU to Ms. Moore?
Sure, Danny, if you will do that.
Or the clerk.
Mayor, I have one additional question I'd like
Sure.
to ask.
Yes, Ms. Moore.
Since there is this, I guess maybe debate or confusion about school versus Head Start, is it possible that you all could do an assessment to determine what impact this would have on property values?
I'm not, no.
That would be it.
And this crew is capable of that.
We don't have the appraisers to do that.
Yeah, I think someone had mentioned earlier that it's just a.
You wouldn't know until after it was built and after.
And that's too late.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times, just since we have gotten this far in the conversation, I know when we built the Grammy Museum, as nice as it is, a lot of people were concerned about their property values, and their property values have truly held up by that. I know.
Oh, yes, I'm certain, yes.
Okay, so what I'm understanding, then you need written statements from everyone that's on the call.
Isn't that what y'all had thought, Paul, or someone mentioned earlier?
Oh, man.
That was my suggestion, just so we would have the letters from everybody who can get on the call.
Yeah.
I think, Mr. Mayor, if you want to get or as I was saying, to get both sides,
Correct.
You need,
Yeah,
you
for
need
sure.
to have a way of getting the people that cannot get on the call. As Dominique said earlier to me, that the only people that could get on this call were the people that was against the project.
Right.
So you don't have a mechanism. That's what I was saying. You need a mechanism to get input from both sides.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, could I
Yes,
suggest,
man. Please.
I'll get with your city clerk tomorrow morning. We'll put together some documents through Kenneth's office and make that available. And that will help both those for and against be informed. A lot of people have sat in on these meetings that Alderman Smith has done, and they are informed, but others may not be. We can get those documents together.
Right. Well,
we
can
can
Ms. Moore, can you be the go-to person that Ms. Green and Ms. Griffith get with?
Yes, and we'll
Okay.
make
we
sure
can-
all of the residents receive whatever it is that they need to receive.
Dominique?
And we can create too a form, an online form. That way every resident can fill out the same form.
Okay,
Good idea.
Okay. And so, Ms. Moore, we'll get together this week
Okay.
and we'll put it on our website too. And that way, if they don't get it from you, they can at least go to our website and access
There you go.
it.
okay, thank you.
I knew you'd come up with something, Dominique.
Yes, and initially, and I'm sorry for the confusion, we admitted people based on the approved list that was sent to me at 5:48 p.m. tonight. So I wasn't sure who was for or who was against. I was just admitting the list.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we admit,
We will work
sent you
through
people
this.
who said they wanted to be here.
Okay.
Okay, what kind of timeline are we looking at as far as getting this?
You're going to try to start something tomorrow, aren't you, Danny and Dominique?
Why don't we use the
Next few
rest of
days.
this month, Mayor? I mean, we got Christmas coming up, so I mean, I think a meeting in January is when? January the 5th? Maybe we can set a meeting at the courthouse.
If we can spread out and all, and depending
Yeah.
on what our mandates are at the time.
Maybe we can do that.
We
Right.
also have the gym too. So
Yeah, the Willard Samuel Gym may be a better place to spread out.
Yeah,
It needs to be a published meeting
that's right.
Sure.
so that everybody has the opportunity to know it's happening.
I
Right.
think the gym would be great.
Yeah. And Josh, you and the architect and you know everybody, because there are going to be questions of all sorts. Expect the unexpected. So, okay, with that being said, Ms. Moore, anything else before we move on?
No, just want to thank you all for your time and we bid you good night.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Kenneth or Danny, we'll go into public hearings.
Yes, sir. Very short list on public hearings. Rosemary Road, Alexander et al., no progress. 403 South Davis Avenue, Enos Hammock, some progress. 204 North Victoria, Rayville LLC, no progress. And that's your complete list. It would be in order for a motion and second to do an adjudication.
So moved.
Okay, Paul made the motion.
Second.
Gary second. All in favor, say aye. Okay.
The second matter on public hearing that you have is the request for Indywood Estates for a change of zoning from a R4 to a PUD, which is a planned unit development. There's extensive photos and plans there in your packet.
Is there a motion?
I make that motion.
Second.
Kirk made the motion. Paul second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Engineering.
All right, I'll be brief and hit my high points real quick. We have a pay request for our 2021 street improvement project that's underway. Fiducia Park, I have 2 pay requests for the building contract. As you can see, it's underway, going up on schedule. Our 861 lighting project, the contractor has installed all the light poles. I'm told by Energy that all the lights on Highway 61 will be connected by the end of the week. Moving on, our Fayette Davis Stormwater Lift Station, I have a pay request, and we've had a pretty good pump delay due to the manufacturer with COVID impacting their production. The pumps are supposed to be here by Monday and installed and operational within 2 weeks, the new pumps. And then finally, our water meter replacement contract, I have a pay request. We are approximately 76% complete. That's all I have.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve all pay requests.
Second.
Danny, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Great job you're doing, Josh.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Please do.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know if it's a little premature to give somebody a good Christmas present as far as what we talked about, that walkway with coming down Martin Luther King.
Yeah, I hope to. So we've applied for TAP grants to install sidewalks on MLK and Court Street, and we should hear back officially in January if we get approved.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Hopefully
you so
by the mid-January meeting, we'll know more.
That's fabulous.
Great.
Good.
Yes.
Mayor, I know Josh, could you briefly give any update on the video camera issue? And also, were you looking at the stop sign at Lamar, south of 4, and I believe Chrisman and Delta?
Yeah. All right, so the video camera, Buster and I have had a couple different video conferences with different camera, it's really kind of software people and people who install these systems. We're kind of trying to weed through exactly what would be the best fit for the city. And we'll be coming back probably January, realistically, with some kind of update. And then the intersections, we can, I can give a better update next time. We really need to, me and Dominique have talked a lot about this, of establishing a formal procedure. And we kind of
needs to be a criteria.
We need to put it on paper. I mean, I could probably verbally kind of give you where I think it's going to go, but we really have we're wanting to work on something officially to submit to the board, to hear the steps to take, to follow in order to see if a step sign is warranted. So.
Please do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Danny, city attorney.
Yes, sir. It would be in order for a motion and second to approve your consent agenda.
So moved.
Robert. Gary, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Also, under city attorney, need approval to adopt the authorization authorizing issuance of the fiscal year 2021 bond.
So move.
Danny.
Second.
Paul, all in favor, say aye.
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 Next, you have approval of some revisions to your pit bull ordinance. There's kind of a talking points set of information there in the packet where Katie explains what she and Jamie have done working through that. It's both increasing some of the fines because ours are lower, and also clarifying the language as far as the breeds of the animal. That would be in order for you to approve along with an authorization to publish.
Questions of that? Motion?
So moved.
Danny made the motion.
Second.
Gary second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Is that it, Danny?
Yes.
Okay. Planning Commission.
We have two recommendations this afternoon. The first one is a recommendation for posting of the property located at 806 East Sunflower Road for a variance. The property is currently zoned B1, and right now it would only allow a maximum building of 10,000 square feet. Delta Health Center is requesting a 9,310 foot variance in order to erect a 19,000 square foot building. And this is request is for posting of the property for the variance.
This has already come before the planning commission.
Yes, y'all, if I could explain. That came in initially as a variance, as a zoning request, and that would have been a spot zone. This is the old footprint of where the Cleveland Clinic used to be, where I went for years and years. And what they're going to put is a real nice medical facility there. And because there's no facility there anymore, you wouldn't be able to build it back as big. So the correct procedure is to do a variance, and that's what they're requesting.
Isn't this touching the land we've been talking about?
To the south, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
All right, but my question was, did the planning commission make a recommendation to approve this?
Yes.
Then I make a motion that we accept it.
Motion made.
Second.
Robert, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
My second recommendation coming from the planning commission is a recommendation for Mr. Jarvis Farmer to serve alcohol at his proposed restaurant at 408 East Sunflower Road. This is the old Payless location. He's going to turn it into a restaurant and a bar to sell seafood.
Payless.
Right there.
Paul, what'd you say?
Who is it? My pad went crazy. I can't read this. Jarvis Farmer?
What's the guy's name, Kenny?
Jarvis Farmer.
This is the same bar owner that we had to shut down. That's where the building that's now the Social Security building is because of the drugs and shootings. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Is that not, Chief?
Correct.
And now we're going to let him have another bar.
My concern when I read that is there's not enough parking there for more than 10 cars.
I'm trying to figure out where it is.
It's Payless. It's right there next to the
dessert.
Right in front of right behind Burger King.
Across from Sonic. Across from Sonic.
Yeah, right behind Burger King.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only concern when I saw that is that you can't put but 10 cars on that parking lot.
Not enough parking.
How would that even, when it was a department store, they met the parking lot requirements because of the space that would be used. Now, if you open it up as a bar and a restaurant, I mean, you could probably get 50 or 100 people in there. Where are they going to park?
Was any of that taken under consideration?
It was going to the planning commission. He still has to go before the site plan review committee. We're trying to get a meeting set for him on next week for that. But his place right now with the footprint that he only has about 48 people he's going to be able to put in there. It's mostly a takeout restaurant than it is anything.
Well,
you can't take out alcohol.
Well, is there anything he should be notified about before we actually go forward or something? Because, some of the things look like it ain't adding up. in that particular space I'm talking about.
I agree with Robert, and I think possibly could we table this until he go before that other committee?
Yeah, that's probably.
I agree with Maurice. Let's table this until we find out exactly
Agreed.
what we're talking about. Because takeout restaurant doesn't need alcohol.
Sounds good. Table it.
Table it.
Okay, we approved the first one, we table in the second.
Right.
Okay, community development, Kenny?
You have my monthly report. I don't have anything else to report other than, it's been a great month and the grass is starting to slow down and we're trying to get caught up.
Those are good reports that Katie's doing, so. Questions? Okay, Lisa?
I don't have anything else to add unless y'all have something for me.
All right, questions of Lisa? Okay. Buster?
Y'all have my monthly report. The only thing I have to add is we made one arrest last night for a car burglary, and we've got 2 more that we got warrants on that we're actively looking for right now. Other than that, I don't have anything else other than the items that's on executive session.
Buster, I tell you what, you look different now. Apparently you've done some shaving now. Let me say this, Mr. Mayor. May I speak?
Sure.
We want everybody from far and near to enjoy what the city of Cleveland does with our 50 nights of lights, okay? We love to have people come to our city because I know we have a beautiful city. But as of late, we have had some situations to occur. I don't know if all of you are aware of it, but the police have spent a lot of time downtown trying to police things that's happening on our walking trail with our lights and things. And this is taken away from the other duties that they need to be handling over the city. So we want to tell everyone, we welcome you here, but if you come here and you destroy our property, then I want the paper to hear this as well. You're gonna be prosecuted. So with that being said, I want that to be noted, Mayor, because we have a beautiful city and we want to invite everybody here. We love to have you here. But what I have witnessed as of late is just unacceptable.
Thank you. I'm very much aware of what's going on.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
I live with it.
Mayor,
Yes,
may I go back to Kenneth under community development?
certainly.
I had a question. I want to clarify something. I read to where the contractor's license board was seeking a recommendation to reappoint someone and also considering making changes of their ordinance. Or clarify something for me. Is this board, I thought the city board was to had to approve all appointments on these boards, or am I incorrect?
Mr. Abraham, if I can answer that for you. You had two appointments go, well, you have multiple
They were
boards
all
that
in the
did
consent
reappointments that were just reappointments of existing people on there. And
Right.
those come to you for final approval. The contractor board had one member that does not want to go back on, and it has another member that is going off that had not been appearing at meetings, so he is not eligible. So they are in the process of getting recommendations to make you a request to make a reappointment.
Okay, we will.
As to their as to what they're doing as far as changing their operating structure,
yes,
that's in process. That's probably going to be January or February before it's done. There's a really long detailed report in there in your packet from Katie on that.
Okay,
and it's hard to give you a 30-second briefing on it.
As long
they're
as
very
long as we
committed to tighten up what they're doing.
well, just you clarified the fact that we have the to approve their appointments. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The city is the appointing power.
Okay.
Janet, do we need to
Maurice.
wait until they make the changes that you're talking about they're going to recommend before we make this appointment?
No. These are two separate issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Buster, were we through with you yet?
Yes, sir. I just had those items in executive session.
Oh, okay. Greg?
Yes, sir. We've had a pretty busy month, about 25 fires. One of them was a restaurant fire. We've got them back open. Currently working on the fire station with Josh, finishing up the probably just some last minute things. Probably looking at another 2 weeks before we're able to do a punch list, get that finished. I took Mr. Abraham in today, let him do a little tour of it. Would be willing to take anyone else over there, show them what we got going on, show them where your money's been spent, and answer any questions about that. Also finishing up the municipal report for our insurance rebate money, and I'll be getting that to Ms. Dominique here shortly this month. Make sure we receive those funds. And any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Questions of Greg?
Fire truck purchase, all that's going on pretty good.
Yes, sir. We've entered into that contract with EEP, which is it will be a state contract purchase, and we've got a committee together and have presented those plans and all of that to Ms. Dominique. She has them on file as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jamie?
Hey, I hope y'all don't mind. I don't have my camera on. I managed to break a bone in my foot, so I'm in my I'm in my recliner, and it's not the best view, so y'all have to excuse me. Not much change from my monthly report. We ended up taking in 32, which is a great number considering it's about half of last year, and we still managed to transfer out 35 and adopt out 10, and we've got several transports coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thanksgiving, I know not everybody follows our Facebook page, but every year we do a Thanksgiving feast for the animals. The community really gets behind it and donates food for them. And it's really good for engagement. And we always get a lot of donations this time of year. So we really enjoy this time of year at the shelter. And we encourage y'all to check the Facebook page with the pictures we post of the donations and, of course, the Thanksgiving meal we feed the animals.
Okay, questions? Okay, Keith?
Mayor, we do need to approve a pay request for the animal shelter.
I
project.
so moved to make a $8,769.52 pay request to Mike Barnett at SPOA for the basic services he has been doing.
Second.
Architect.
Motion made by Danny, motion seconded by Gary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, Keith?
Good evening, folks. We've had a pretty eventful month. We've had a rash of water leaks, which this extremely dry weather this year is causing it. But I want to make everyone aware of the fact, and I know some of you are getting some pushback from some of your constituents, but at this point in time, we are being driven by the new 811 laws. It has become extremely difficult. They're running behind because their workload is stressed because they've done a real good advertising on this 811 and they put the fear of God in everybody. I mean, we got people that call that are wanting to plant rose bushes and they call 811 to get locates, and it has stressed them and they're running behind. And in the past, normally we get locates in 24 to 36 hours, and now it's 36 to a week sometimes. And they lost Bill, who has been their locator for years. He got tired of it too, and he's gone. So it's a struggle, but we're getting by. But you just y'all need to all tell your constituents that the way the law is written, you can't put a shovel in the ground without getting a locate now. You got some of these fiber optic lines that are in the ground. You hit one of them with a shovel or a backhoe, and the invoice can be tens of thousands of dollars. So we're just having to be extremely careful, but we're doing all we can do. So when your constituents go to fussing about these leaks that normally go away in 2 days and it's taking 3 or 4, that's the push behind it. Is it's called before you dig law.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Ray Bell? You're not on.
You're muted, Ray.
Can't hear you.
All we can see is the worm.
Okay, here we go. Good
Yeah, there
evening.
you
I
go.
finally got it under me. But y'all have my report. Unless y'all have some questions for me.
Good job.
Yeah, Ray Bell, comment on y'all being out Thanksgiving night. Y'all out every night because something seems to go wrong with a little thing here or there, and y'all are really doing a great job. Okay, Clint.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Good evening, Mayor. Believe it or not, I do not have anything for y'all tonight. I figure Mr. Gary excited about that, but I would say just one quick thing. We're in the process of getting our pavement rehab project kicked off, and it's very dependent on weather. And it's looking like it may, if everything works out, we may get started on it next week. So once that starts, we will be closed for several days in a row. So we've been working with the tenants and getting everything ironed out. I just want to give the board a heads up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jason.
I don't have anything outside of my report.
Questions of Jason? Okay. Dominique?
I don't have anything unless you guys have questions.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Dominique.
Heather?
Mayor.
Yes,
Can I ask Dominique a question?
Sure.
How's the drought box doing, Dominique, back at City Hall?
Phenomenally.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Heather?
The only thing I have is the employee action recommendations. Unless you have any questions and want to move an item to executive.
I got a question.
Okay, Paul?
We're changing where we were from new hires at 9 something now to 11 something. How many existing employees do we have that are under this 11 already?
All of them are under the 11. Are you talking about the originals when we first started?
Yes. I mean, but we're talking about 3 new people, new hires at $11 an hour. Don't we have people that are under $11 right now that are working?
No, sir. No, sir.
None that are under.
No, sir. Everybody was moved up.
In public works, everybody was.
In public works, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Other question?
Can we approve this?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Gary made the motion. Any second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, we'll go around the horn here. Robert?
Mayor, I think I basically highlighted and stated what I had stated. Once again, thank to Ray Bell and his crew, as well as Buster and the entire fire department. We thank them for getting us through this first portion of the holiday period.
Okay. Ted?
On Monday, I met with Chief Bingham along with the owner of the Hurricane and the owner of the Haynes building, and basically was concerned about cars parking on both sides of the street. So Chief made a recommendation that the cars just park on the east side of the street there in front of the Hurricane. Really, it's from Mullen Road all down to Langston Road. And I like to put that through a motion that that the cars will only park on the east side of the road and not on both sides of the road in front of the Hurricane, from Mullen Road all the way down to Langston Road.
Mr. Campbell, also on the west side of the street, from Mullins Road to Lane, we would like to designate that as a no parking tow-away zone area. That's where the residents, the houses are that are on that street, and that's where we have the issues when they have big crowds and stuff. The owner of the Hurricane and also the owner of the Haynes building were agreeable to this, and also the residents that live on the west side of the road were agreeable. And we even told the residents, look, if you have a party at your house and you park on the street on that side, that's a tow-away zone. And they said, nope, if we have a party, we'll make other actions so we don't have to park on that side of the street. That was
total agreement, right?
To be able to clean that street out in case they have a big event and people are parking, and we can start towing cars instead of just
So Ted, that's the motion you're making, what all Buster just said, right?
Yeah, make sure that no cars be parked on that.
Right, in the tow-away zone.
In the
Okay.
tow-away.
Motion on by Ted. Second, Maurice. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, Danny.
Mayor, I just want to suggest to all the board members, please get with Greg Jackson and go over and see our new facility. It's really unbelievable. I learned so much from him today, and Greg and I talked about maybe a little disclosure here. My wife is a master gardener, and I did get a chance to discuss with Betsy if the master gardeners could help us with landscaping, Greg, and the response was, we would be happy to design, select plants, figure cost, etc., but need labor to do installation under their guidance. And so master gardeners will be glad to help you on your landscaping. And thank y'all, every department head. Appreciate you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
you. All right, Gary.
Just tell Danny to call 811 before they dig.
I agree. Maurice.
Mayor, I don't have anything. I would like to say that I know we lost our city prosecutor. I don't know if the city did a resolution or anything to that family.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that in just a minute.
Okay, I'd like to see that, and then on down the future, what is the process of replacing the prosecutor. I would
I'm
like to
okay.
consider, I'll shut up then and let you touch.
No, that's okay. And I know you had a suggestion on that too. Excuse me, but don't take all my thunder.
I'll let you do it.
Okay. Okay. Kirk?
I have nothing other than y'all department heads.
Can't hear you.
Kirk, can't hear you.
Kirk, we can't hear you.
Well, I'm sitting here talking, it was just somebody was interfering, but I have nothing other than to thank the department heads and all the people that work for the city and the outstanding work they do.
Great.
Well said. All right, Paul?
Nothing. I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, but I know we'll have another meeting before then.
Yeah, we will. Okay. I'm gonna go back to what Maurice started, and it was on Robert Johnson, and I've asked a committee to work on that, and Kirk's gonna chair it, and Danny Griffith's gonna help, and Robert Sanders and Paul Janis, basically the police committee, but Kirk's gonna handle that. And some of y'all have called me with suggestions. I've already started getting people calling me and mailing stuff in and stuff. So if you have suggestions, please call Kirk or one of the committee with that. Maurice, I know you had one. And we will also do a resolution for the family. And Lisa, I'm going to ask you, if you will, it shouldn't be hard to come up with a resolution for Robert Johnson.
Yeah, I'll be glad to.
He was quite a guy. And also, Danny mentioned the fire station. If you got a little time, if you're doing that, go by the train station too, because all the nice things the gentleman from Tupelo gave us, and Lisa's done a wonderful job on displaying that, and it's well worth your trip. So while you go to the fire station, go to the train museum too. And that's all I've got. I guess we've got some executive session issues. Kirk?
I make a motion we consider an executive session. I believe there are some items listed on the agenda that we shall consider during executive session.
Kirk made a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I move we in executive session for those same reasons.
Kirk made a motion.
Second.
Gary second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Dominic, if we will.